This is the Ourvoice 360 podcast, our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. This podcast was created with you in mind. On Ourvoice 360, we'll give you inspiration, sports, business and leadership tips, Black history, and entertainment. This is a show built from our perspectives. So if you're ready to be entertained, inspired, laugh a little, be informed, and enlightened, tune in now to Ourvoice 360. Let's go! Welcome to the show, Ourvoice 360. Our perspectives, our ways. I'm your man, Chad Bumgarner, 1/3 of the trio here. I have with me my man, Pete Hunt.
What's good, family?
And my man, Mike Brown, the Don Dot.
Blessings.
And with that, let's go ahead and get into it.
All right, our show is always brought to you by Elect Graphics and Photography. Allow your visions to become reality. And CDB Consulting. Great leadership equals great results. How are you leading? And if you would like to get in contact with us about sponsorships or to just let us know how you feel about the show, you can email us at ourvoice360@gmail.com and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Hey, Mike, hit us up with that inspiration, brother.
All right, today we're going to discuss mind control over your destiny.
Okay.
Whatever you aspire to be in life, first you must become that mentally. Okay, see yourself in that position, and then from mental, you do the physical. You start conducting yourself as though you already are. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Start conducting yourself as such. Let's say a child wants to be a businessman when he grows up. That child may start be the only one in the school wearing suits, carrying a little briefcase with him.
Right.
Because mentally he's already there. So by mentally already being there, you'll take the necessary steps to become that businessman.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what you need to take in college. You know what you need to do now. But yeah, so learn that your mind is a powerful weapon. It's a powerful muscle.
Yeah.
I agree, Mike. You gotta see it in order to make it happen. It's like envisioning it and then the execution phase.
Exactly.
And a lot of times, and I'm not trying to go off track, but a lot of times you not only does your mental have to be strong, but when you start to execute it, you got to be strong in your execution because everybody's not going to see what you see.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not even going to agree or like what you're trying to do. It's like on the job. I remember my first real job. A buddy of mine was saying, always dress for the position that you want, not for the position that you have.
That's right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I remember working for this one company. And I came in as the lead over the technical team, right? And a buddy of mine was working there. And the dress code was basically slacks and a button-down shirt or a polo. And he was like, Chad, if you expand your wardrobe, you will get the attention that you're looking for as far as going to the next level.
Yeah.
So I would come in and dress pants and a button-down collared shirt every day. That was my, attire. He said, I tell you what, add a blazer every day to your attire and watch what happens. I promise y'all, I started wearing blazers to work. And within that whole week, people that walked by me every day and didn't say one word started stopping. I'm like, hey, I'm such and such. Who'd you say you were again? What is it that you do? Just because of that one thing. You know what I'm saying? So the mental piece is just as important as the physical piece. And I just want to throw that example in there because I really didn't see that until I really didn't believe that until I started doing what he said. And you already see yourself there. Now start dressing the part. acting the part, start talking or speaking the part. And it did eventually happen for several months later. It did. I'm not saying it's to be in all cases, but it's a good habit to practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was you said what I was going to say, that my parents growing up, since I coaching, is my big thing. Love coaching, being a basketball coach and stuff. And my dad always told me, you dress for the job you want.
Mm-hmm.
So if you ever ran into anybody that's seen me coach before, I'm always suited and booted. Suit, I don't care what level, little league or high school, I'm always suited and booted. Hard bottoms, full suit, tie, bow tie, whatever the case may be. That was always how I dressed on the sideline, because again, as wanting to be, college coach, professional coach, whatever, you never know who's going to be in the gym. Mm-hmm. And I also told that to my young people that I coach. You never know who's going to be in this gym, so act accordingly.
Yes.
But Chad, that's when you said that, man, that just brought me back to what my dad would say to me, and from that point on, I was never off of the sidelines without being suited and booted. And I can't tell you how many other coaches
started doing it.
Bruh. When I coach, when I was the head JV coach at Newton Conover, specifically, we played East Lincoln was in our conference, East Lincoln High School, and I was the only one in the league that wore a suit, varsity or JV. I was the only one of the league coaches that wore a suit. During the year, when we'd go scout other teams, this, that, and the third, I'm starting to see, okay, why are these coaches in this league starting to wear suits? It's that and the third. And my dad was the assistant coach on Newton's team at the time too. And he said, "See what you've done, son?" He said, "You've changed something in this league." And even when I left and went to West College, thing happened. In that conference, I started seeing other coaches, saying put on suits and this, that, and the third. They never thought about putting on those suits.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. I mean, again, saying you have not only mentally, you have to prepare yourself for what you want. Again, Chad, just like you said, physically. Mm-hmm. Also, you have to, because it really, your first impression is crucial to any situation.
And it's a lasting impression for a lot.
Exactly. Your first impression is the most lasting impression anybody's going to see of you. Mm-hmm. Yep. So why not? Now I can understand if you a plumber, you don't want to do that, or you a maintenance man, you don't want to do that. But if you're any kind of job office situation or a coach or whatever the case may be, you always want to present yourself at the highest level, because that first impression is paramount to getting respect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Mike, what you talking about is huge. You have mentally and physically, you have to prepare yourself for where you want to go, man. You have to.
Right. That's some good insight for any young adults that are listening right now, as well as some older ones, but mostly the young adults, because I'm pretty sure a lot of them may not be getting information like this, and it's so simple and basic, but it's so true.
Yeah,
it's so true.
Yeah,
Mike, man, once again, we appreciate the inspiration, man. We appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now, sports brief. What's going
on? Man. Hey man, what's going on, family? We're gonna run through 2 or 3 things today. First off, we want to talk about the NBA.
Hold on, Pete.
Yeah. I need my horns. I take some harmonica too. Yeah, first of all, I want to talk about the NBA playoffs. We are now in the conference finals phase of the NBA now, with the Heat being up 1-0 on the Boston Celtics. And if any of you watched that game, you know how it went down at the end of the game. You had Jason Tatum driving hard to the basket, and that guy Bam Adebayo out of nowhere with one of the most spectacular blocks I have seen in a long time.
Mama, there goes that man.
Yes, sir. Denying Jason Tatum of a dunk and tying the ball game up and going into overtime. After that, Heat take the ball out. They try to foul him or whatever. But in the end, the Heat takes a 1-0 lead on the Celtics in that series, with Game 2 coming as we record this tonight. Mm-hmm. Game 2 will be tonight. And let's talk about one of the biggest collapses in sports, according to in the NBA, and that's the Clippers blowing a 3-1 lead against the Denver Nuggets, being in total command of the series, and for whatever reason couldn't close it out. Those last 3 games that they played were up double figures, all 3 games in the first half. Yep. To the point of 20, I think it was 20 points, 16 points, and 12 points at halftime. And in the third and fourth quarters, the Nuggets just beat them up in those quarters. And it's just a shock, because a lot of people were, clamoring for the LA Western Conference Finals, the Clippers and the Lakers. That was what everybody was talking about. Clippers and the Lakers, Clippers and the Lakers. Even myself. I had, even in our last show that we had, that's what I said. Mm-hmm. The Clippers are going to take care of Denver. It's going to be the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals. The Nuggets had thoughts, didn't have those thoughts that we had. So they come back from a 3-1 deficit, the first NBA team ever to come back from 2 3-1 deficits in the same playoffs. So they came back from 3-1 in Utah and 3-1 from the Clippers, the first team to ever do that in the NBA. And now it leads up to a very interesting series with the Lakers. Regular season, the Lakers won the series 3-1, the regular season series, but only one of those games was it sort of a blowout. The rest of the games were 4 points or less, even with one game going into overtime. So this is going to be a very interesting series, especially with Denver playing the way they are right now. Can the Lakers stop the Jokic, Jamal Murray pick and roll at the top of the key or on the sideline? And can anybody stop LeBron James and Anthony Davis on? Can those two be contained? This is going to be a really interesting series. I'm leaning Lakers just because of LeBron. I'm going to lean the Lakers in 6, and in the other series with the Celtics, I think that's going to go 7. And I'm going, as much as I like the Celtics and their talent, man, something about Miami, man. They get that Jimmy Butler, dog. That Jimmy Butler is something special. Yeah, Jimmy Butler is something special, man. So we're going to see how this Western Conference and Eastern Conference goes, and just hope for the best. I know that I'm sure Adam Silver is hoping for a Celtics Lakers finals. The commissioner of the NBA. I know he's hoping for that, but you have 2 really good teams in the Heat and the Nuggets that's going to challenge the Celtics and the Lakers. Second thing I want to talk about is college football. If you haven't heard, the Big Ten has the presidents of the Big Ten, basically the presidents of the Big Ten have finally announced that they have come to a resolution, and they are going to have a 8-game college football season in the Big Ten. Like I said, it's just going to be 8 games. Me personally, given my personal opinion, I think it's crazy to do it, because it's just basically saying that you don't give a doggone about these young men's lives. And on top of that, why aren't the other fall sports playing? Why is it just football? Why is it just football? I mean, and actually you're having students in the Big Ten saying that, the students on campus are not safe and not getting tested properly. So why do the athletes get all of this extra testing? He's tested 3 times a week and this, that, and the third. We
all know why.
Yes, we do.
Money.
Yes, sir. And now the students of the Big Ten in these different colleges in the Big Ten are like, okay, so why are you not doing that with the non-athletes? Why are you not testing us? why are we having outbreaks on campus, and you could pretty much care less what the outbreaks are, but you're going to spend all this extra time with the athletes and money with the athletes. So it's just they were really pressured by parents and players and people in high places pressuring them, and basically they buckled to that pressure. And my thing is
45 takes credit for that, because he said he made a call to the administration of Big Ten, or the rep for the Big Ten.
Yeah, and then the presidents came out and said you had nothing to do with it, but that's par for the course. Yeah. And then speaking still on college football here in North Carolina, UNC Charlotte postpones their game with UNC Chapel Hill this weekend because guess what? COVID outbreak.
Yes, sir. Who got the outbreak? Carolina or
no? UNC Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte.
UNC Charlotte. Yeah, they're the tracing has come back saying that the majority of the offensive linemen were around people that had COVID.
Well, now hold on, because last week they played App State.
Yeah.
So how we know? And I'm not trying to put blame on App State. I'm just saying it's hard to trace where it came from.
And that's what I'm saying.
It all together. They wouldn't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
And that's well.
Yeah. So the contact tracing led back to multiple offensive linemen, actually multiple players on the team, but mostly the offensive linemen come back maybe having COVID, and they've been quarantined and all this other stuff. And so they basically said there's no way that we can play this weekend because we don't have enough bodies.
Fine.
Yeah, we don't have enough bodies to play.
Well, now, you know what would be interesting? I wonder if there's an outbreak on App State's football team. If they got an outbreak, that would be interesting to know. Because like I said, they played last week.
Yeah, I don't trust any of these colleges, especially the Power Five. Yeah. Especially the Power Five. I don't trust any of them. Well, we just had Ed Orgeron say the other day that 90% of his players have had COVID. 90%.
And not to mention people.
And he's hoping that they don't get it again.
I know somewhere out west, I want to say Oklahoma, but I'm not sure. But the coaches were trying to keep the count of COVID-19 cases on the football team under wraps. They were telling the players, not to say anything, but they came out anyway. They was like, nah, this is our life.
Yeah. And actually, I'm glad you brought that up, Chad. Actually, the coach of Oklahoma, he basically said we're not going to tell anybody if our players have COVID.
That's a bunch of mess.
Yeah, so I don't trust any of these NCAA officials, these colleges, like I said, especially in the Power 5 conferences. I don't trust any of those guys to give the proper information, because at the end of the day, all they want to do is win football games. They could care less about these student athletes, quote unquote student athletes, and that just makes me even more proud of the guys that's saying that we're not going to play.
HBCUs.
Yeah. I'm glad. It just makes me even more proud of guys that's saying, "Look, I'm not going to play this year because I don't trust these administrations to do the right thing, and my health is more important than any college football game that's going to be played."
And they keep proving that over and over.
I'm telling you,
care about these players.
They do not care because. And then I read something on, I can't remember who the author was of the article. But he was basically saying that now, if these college players play and they happen to get COVID, guess what? You get drafted. A team can say, you're coming into our team with a pre-existing condition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We drafted you knowing that you had a pre-existing condition, so we're not liable for anything that happens to you on our football field. Now you put those kids in that situation. If they get drafted and some say their heart enlarges or whatever, there's going to be a lot. Those NFL teams are going to be like, okay, you're a liability physically. So
and please believe that contracts are going to have those amendments.
They're going to have a waiver in there.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what's going to happen. The NFL is going to put a waiver in these newest contracts.
Yeah.
For these guys that's going to get drafted coming up in 2020. There's going to be a waiver in that if something happens to you, we're not liable.
Not responsible.
Because you have to remember, already the NFL is facing multiple lawsuits from previous players because of the CTE or the concussion thing.
Yeah, CTE.
So they're learning from that mistake.
Exactly.
So they're going 2021. I best believe when they start the draft, these new players, like what Pete said. Now I agree with you, Pete, 100%. They are going to have these amendments or these waivers in these new contracts for these players that maybe that have had COVID. They're not going to be held reliable.
Yeah, responsible. Yeah, and that's probably and when they go into these draft rooms and they get interviewed by these NFL coaching staffs and all that, that's going to be one of the first questions that they're going to ask.
Yep.
Did you get COVID? Have you had COVID?
Right up there with the behavior question.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the first questions that they ask now. Because guess what? If we do draft you, now that we know that you have COVID, we're going to put this waiver in here saying that, you know, if something happened to you, you die on the football field or this, that, and the third, guess what? We are not liable for anything that happened to you on this football field.
Yep.
So I mean, I don't get it. I realize I love football. I love watching college football. I love watching sports, but unless you're in a bubble, like the NBA is doing, like Major League Soccer's doing, like hockey did, if you're doing right now, and to some extent baseball, if you're not putting yourself in any kind of bubble, you are putting yourselves in harm's way.
Agreed.
And at this point, the NCAA is proving that these quote unquote student athletes are not student athletes. They're employees.
Yeah.
They're employees. That's exactly what they are. Because because a lot of these colleges don't have actual students, non-athlete students, non-athletic students on their campuses, but you have the athletes on your campuses.
It's just
football
pawns,
players.
man. Pawns in a game.
That's it, bro. That's it. And the last thing I want to talk about is I want to bring up 3 big games in the NFL this weekend. First game will be the Cowboys and the Falcons. It's going to be an absolute shootout, I think. Last week, the Falcons, Matt Ryan threw for 450 plus yards and 4 touchdowns, and the Cowboys offense didn't click that much last week against the Rams. But with as bad as the Falcons defense is, I think Dak Prescott and those guys' offense will get on track, and this is going to be an absolute shootout in the NFC.
We've got some injuries on the offensive line for the Cowboys already out the gate, and that doesn't help because if I'm not mistaken, out of the front 5, only 2 are the original linemen from last year. I think everybody else is new or been replaced from an injured person. So, that's going to take some chemistry. That's going to take some time. And I'm surprised they lost to the Rams by as few points as they did. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, because they couldn't score. Dallas's offense was awful. I mean, outside of Zeke, it was it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So
I room back there. He couldn't breathe back there in the pocket. So it's gonna be a pretty good game.
Yeah, it's gonna be a shootout. It's gonna be a shootout regardless, because the Falcons are like, we're not even trying to run the football. We're not even. I mean, I think Matt Ryan threw almost 60 times last week.
Wow.
He almost had 60 attempts, passing attempts last week. So they're not even trying to run the football. So I expect some fireworks in that game. The next game will be the Ravens and the Texans, which you have a matchup of 2 young black quarterbacks, buddy. 2 studs, and Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson. And I hate it for Deshaun Watson that the Texans, they traded DeAndre Hopkins. That's why do you do that? And you put your quarterback in a bad position. But these 2 young brothers are really going to get it. They are really going to get it. They're 2 fantastic young talents, and I'm just really excited to see how Deshaun Watson is going to face that tough Ravens defense. And we all know what Lamar Jackson can do. This guy's the reigning MVP. I mean, he's a joy to watch on the football field for sure. So that should be a really good game this weekend. The last game I want to bring up, another 2 great black quarterbacks, the Patriots versus the Seahawks, which I'm a Seahawks fan, longtime Seahawks fan. So very interested in seeing that game between Cam Newton and Russell Wilson. So that's going to be another great game this weekend. Those three games are probably the three best games. Probably be the three best games this weekend from a stylistic standpoint and from a standpoint of just six good football teams that going up against each other. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting with Cam being on the Patriots. Will he play the same way he did last week? Will Belichick have him running the football 15 plus times again like he did last week? If he does, Cam won't hold up through the season. He's not going to be able to hold up through the season if he's running that football 15 plus times a game. Can New England's defense stymie hot Russell Wilson right now? All through the summer, this offseason, everybody was talking about the let Russ cook, meaning, take the reins off of Russell Wilson and let him do what he does. So they did that last week in Atlanta. So we'll see if they continue that this week against a very tough Patriots defense. And man, that's all I have this week on the sports brief. We have a lot of great sports events that's happening this week, and take full advantage of it. Sit down, watch some of these games, watch the Big Ten come back, watch these NBA great NBA playoff games, and again, like I said, this weekend starting tonight as we're recording with the Browns and the Bengals. So hey, it's out here. If you're a sports head, you got a lot of stuff out here to watch, man.
I hear that. Peace. Appreciate the sports brief, man. Appreciate the sports brief.
Yes,
and
sir.
Now, I want to welcome everyone to this week's edition of Chad's Leadership Corner, where you get leadership tips and insights on leadership in business. And with that, we'll go ahead and get right into it. We're going to start off with the business section first, if you don't mind. Fellas, I don't know if y'all know about this, but Akon's real-life Wakanda in Senegal is worth $6 billion with a B dollars. Award-winning R&B singer Akon is moving forward with his plans to build a futuristic city worth $6 billion in Senegal that he says will be a real-life version of Wakanda. Development will officially begin in 2021, and it will be called Akon City. Says Akon, we're looking at Akon City to become the beginning of Africa's future. Our idea is to build a futuristic city that incorporates all the latest technologies, cryptocurrencies, and also the future of how African societies should become in the future. The vibrant solar-powered city will be located on the beautiful coast of Senegal and will have a technologically advanced healthcare district, offices, luxury houses, shopping malls, skyscrapers, sports facilities, and eco-friendly tourist centers. Its location will be just 5 minutes away from the Blaze, I don't know how to say this word, DIANGE, International Airport, the country's newest $575 million international airport. Akon first announced his idea to build the city back in 2018 and compared it to the fictional nation of Wakanda portrayed by the Black Panther film. He also announced that his city would use its own form of cryptocurrency. Get this, y'all, called a coin. Really feeling himself on this one.
Yeah.
But I congratulate the brother. He's doing something that nobody else has done. So,
yeah, do your thing, man.
Oh yeah.
Next up in the business sector is BET and Tyler Perry. They are teaming up to launch African American streaming service. BET and Tyler Perry have partnered to launch a new ad-free subscription video on-demand service called BET Plus. The joint venture between Viacom's BET Networks and Tyler Perry Studios is set to launch on September 19th, in 2 days. BET Plus, which is priced at $9.99 a month, will be featuring more than 1,000 hours of content, including original program series, movies, and stand-up specials from Tyler Perry, Tracy Oliver, Will Packer, and other Black content creators. We're thrilled to offer a streaming service of content curated for the underserved African American audience with BET Plus. African Americans have had a higher SVOD adoption rate than any other consumer base in the market, which is why BET Plus is a natural complement of BET's linear network. which has been and continues to be the leading home of black culture for decades, says BET President Scott Mills in a statement. The service will also release a BET Plus original project almost every month. In its first year, according to BET Plus General Manager Devin Griffin, he added, "We're focused on super serving lovers of black stories by working with top talent and supporting fresh new voices on both sides of the camera." Moreover, BET Plus will house Perry's films and TV works, as well as stage plays, including the Medea series, and then we got Meet the Browns, Daddy's Little Girls, Temptations, it goes on and on. In our industry, the way people consume content is constantly evolving, and I've paid attention to my audience and what works for them. And for that reason, I'm very excited not only about the idea of partnering with BET, but to create new and exciting content, but also about the idea of giving people a personalized experience through the ability to curate the content they love to consume, this is Tyler Perry's statement. On a personal level, this will also be the first time I'll be working in areas like unscripted and variety television, which will afford me the opportunity to work in fresh, creative ways with new voices and discover new talent. So, I know there's a lot of people out there that are really not fond of BET, but this BET Plus may be something we can wrap our heads around.
I just hope they.
I would go ahead, Mike.
I just hope they don't show reruns like they do on regular BET.
Now I'm hoping it's different, man. I'm hoping it's mostly new content because
I can't watch Baby Boy again. I can't. I really can't.
Jordan.
What's up, Pete? What you got?
What I was going to say is I get Tyler Perry wanting to, merge with BET, but I think that's something Tyler Perry could have done on his own.
Me too. I was gonna say it.
You know what I'm saying? Because now it would be one thing if BET was still black owned.
Yeah.
If Bob Johnson still owned BET and is not being owned by Viacom, I would say okay. But I mean I think that's something Tyler Perry could. He's at the stage now that he could have done that on his own. You don't need.
But maybe because he has his own empire, maybe he's got enough to juggle on his own. So partnering with somebody else would force them to take over a lot of or half of the responsibility. I'm just spitballing. I don't know.
Yeah. But taking away. But look what BET has become since. Well, I mean, since Viacom bought them out. Bob Johnson sold BET.
They have a ton of black new shows on there now. They do. They have a ton of. Now, I haven't sat down and watched all of them. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But I was doing some research about that, and BET has a ton of new black shows on there. But I think BET is gonna have to do some rebranding because they're too far gone to a lot of people in the black community.
Yeah.
And I'm one of them. I couldn't tell you the last time I watched BET. I couldn't tell you the last time. And BET was
the black people right now is like CMT, country music television. You're not watching it.
I mean but when we was growing up, BET was a staple. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
It was like Soul Train.
Exactly, Rap City and 106 and Park and all those things. I mean, we had news. BET had news.
Yes, it did.
I mean, so it's just since Viacom bought them out, it's really to me has gone
commercial.
And it's not the same
energy.
Yeah, it's not the same black energy that was there once before, because like I said, BET was the joint for us. Hey, we took pride in watching BET.
We did.
So, I mean, I congratulate the brother on what he's doing, but I still think that could be, and like I said, Chad, maybe that's something he's trying to boost BET up. You know what I'm saying? To try to get black folk back to watching BET.
Because he has a large and faithful following, so maybe he can help turn the tides for for BET. But
good luck on that one.
I wish him the best.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're gonna move to the leadership aspect of the portion. So today I'm talking about 3 ways senior leaders create a toxic culture. All right? Pay attention, folks, because this could be you. The people at the top of an organization have a disproportionate level of influence over those that they lead. If you and your fellow executives fall into bad habits, it's likely that those further down in the organization will emulate them. There are 3 common habits that can create a toxic culture that you would want to avoid. The first one is scattered priorities. The implications for an organization whose leadership team is poorly focused are serious. Wasted resources, wasted effort, and widespread confusion start to become the norm. Number 2, an unhealthy rivalry. Now this is really big in a lot of organizations and leadership teams. Leadership teams must operate as a unified force. Shared goals must be accompanied by shared accountability. Okay, you can't pit one against the other. You are a team. We should do things collectively to reach the collective goal. Number 3, unproductive conflict. Now, you have to understand, conflict doesn't necessarily mean an argument or something bad. A conflict is just an engagement of 2 people with possibly 2 different ideas. Okay? Unproductive conflict, though. Speaking negatively behind one another's backs, withholding honest perspectives, or vetoing decisions after they are made should be unacceptable. They should be unacceptable. There's unproductive conflict, speaking behind one another's backs. We are adults. This is not high school or middle school.
Right.
We should be able to confront each other on a business and humane level with differences of opinions.
Yeah.
Without going behind someone's back, speaking negatively about them. Withholding honest perspectives. Just be honest. Your perspective does not have to be the same as your teammates. That's what makes you a team. Everybody has collective and different ideas. That's your strength. You don't want everybody thinking the same way you do. You want a 360-degree view of a situation so you can make the best decision possible. And love it or not, your decision ain't always going to be the best. Again, that's why you're part of a team.
Yep.
And then finally, vetoing decisions after they are made should be unacceptable. If the team voted on it and that's what it is, that's what you should ride with. You should not veto once everybody has discussed, put their viewpoints in, voted on how they want to move forward. If they voted and they agreed on a certain answer, that's the result. That's how we move forward.
Let me interject something real quick, Chad. Going back to sports, what you just said about the veto, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if you heard about this. People are really not understanding the offensive lineman. I think his last name is Villanueva.
Yeah.
Came out and everybody had the same, because the NFL is allowing you to put people's names on the back of your helmet, this, that, and the third, Black Lives Matter. And everybody from Pittsburgh came up with one guy's name. But Villanueva did something totally opposite and didn't tell anybody. Well, he told Mike Tomlin, tell any of his teammates, didn't tell nobody else. So he came out there. Everybody was uniformed with, I can't remember the gentleman's name that was shot and killed by the police. Everybody had the same name but him. So again, there you go with what you just said about, if we've made a decision as a team,
that's what
whether it's business, sports, or anything else. If we're a team and we've made a decision, you can't go do your own thing if we've already made a decision. That's right. Now it's a controversy. Now the media's gotten a hold of it, and now every day I've seen it. They played Monday night, and every day since then I saw an article on it this morning. So now it's permeating their locker room, and now Big Ben is getting asked questions about it, and Hayward is getting questions about it. Juju Smith-Schuster is getting. If you would have just done what we all agreed on,
that's right.
Guess what? We don't have this outside issue now.
Now, see, now what he's done has created what I just said, a toxic culture within the locker room, and now you have a trust issue.
Yeah. Well, and the same thing happened with the tight end. I think it's Goddard, or was it Zach Ertz? I can't remember. One of the tight ends from Philadelphia. You know, everybody had
Ertz.
somebody's name. Yeah, I don't think it was Ertz. I think it was Goddard. I think it was Goddard. The other tight end, number 88. Everybody else had some black man, woman, or child on the back of their helmet, and he comes out with a police officer that got shot on the back of his helmet. Okay, I mean, basically, okay, you've told us what you about.
Right.
Yeah.
You've just told us what you. Yes, you just told us what you about. So now Philadelphia is dealing with the same thing as Pittsburgh is dealing with, because you wouldn't go with what the team said. You had to step out of line. So now we have this outside interference that's seeping into our locker room.
Yet another thing to further separate you is if you didn't have enough already.
Yeah.
You just added another thing, especially when the media gets a hold. But I want to wrap up this leadership segment real quick. So imagine this. If a video camera captured your leadership team in action for a full day, how would you feel about that video being used as training for the rest of the organization? Serving on a leadership team should be viewed as a privilege. And along with that privilege comes a responsibility to have, to behave in ways you would be proud to have the rest of the organization emulate. So that's my take on the leadership aspect of that. The three ways that senior leadership can create toxic culture. So just something to marinate on for a minute and think about. That's it for me. If you have any questions, or if you need any help with leadership development, team building, or diversity training, please do not hesitate to contact me. 678-571-2773. Or you can email me, chad@chadbumgarner.co. And remember, great leadership is great results. How are you leading? All right, Mike.
Yes, sir.
Time to drop them jewels on us, the Black History.
Yes, sir. I know that's right.
All right, y'all. Today we're going to be talking about William Bill G. Mays.
Okay.
William Mays was a pioneering Indiana businessman who applied his resources to bring prominence to not only his holdings, but to other entities across the state. He was the first African-American chairman of the Greater Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce, cementing his designation as one of the state's most successful businessmen. He was born December 4th, 1945 in Evansville, Indiana. Graduating at the top of his class, Mays entered Indiana University and followed the footsteps of his chemical professor father en route to earning a degree in chemistry in 1970, and he earned his MBA from the same school in 1973. Combining his interests in science and business, he worked for several prominent chemical companies throughout the 70s. While assuming leadership experience, in 1980, he began the Mays Chemical Company, earning $2.2 million in his first year. As the company grew, he absorbed smaller chemical companies to his own brand before expanding nationally. 90s revived the state's oldest black newspaper, the Indianapolis Recorder, which is the fourth oldest paper in the nation. He was the first black person elected to the Indiana Hoosier Lottery Commission. In 96, he carried the Olympic torch during its stop as part of its national tour before concluding in Los Angeles for the Summer Games. And he died in 2014, December the 4th.
On his birthday?
No. Yeah.
Whoa.
Went out like he came in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
That's what you call a full life, literally.
Yeah. You died on your birthday. What's the odds of that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's
I mean, that's not
Man,
all I took from what you gave
yeah,
me. It just stuck out. Just
yeah. Man,
died
that's.
on his birthday.
But again, as I say every week, we gonna get these T-shirts printed up. Man, our people great, man.
Yes, sir.
Our people
like,
great, man. What? Hey, I'm telling you, whatever it may be, whether it's business, I mean, inventions,
Yep.
education,
Science, chemistry,
science,
all that.
yeah, whatever, man. It's just, and it's again, Mike. You bring us people that we normally don't hear about.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of your segment, that we know about Dr. King and Malcolm and Sojourner Truth
And Rosa.
Rosa. We know about those, but it's the people that that we don't hear about are the people we really need to hear about.
Yeah, those are the people we really know, because they're the backbone. They're the backbone of so much that has taken place that we don't even get credit for as a people.
Yeah, man, that's great.
So, brother Chad.
Yes, sir.
What you got on that entertainment over there, brother?
Hey, before we hit that, man, like I say, with these Black histories, you always make us walk a little straighter, have our back a little taller.
Yes,
Or
sir.
walk a little taller, have our back a little straighter. Let me say it like that.
I know that's right, baby.
And we do appreciate that, my brother. We do appreciate that. All right. Welcome to the segment of You Know How We Do, segment of the show where you hear update news about us in the entertainment industry as well as Black achievements. So I'll go ahead and get into the entertainment side first today. All right. If you don't know, now you know. 50 Cent inks a deal with STARZ to develop female sports agent hip-hop anthology drama series. Now, that's a daggone mouthful right there.
Okay.
Yeah. If there's one thing 50 Cent knows how to do, we all know, it's creating quality television for the culture with Power, which was a huge success for the brother 50. We know it, and STARZ knows it too. That's why the network announced their new deal with the Queens rapper to develop 2 original scripted series for our screens. 50 would develop both series as an executive producer through his G-Unit film and television imprint under his I can't even talk today, y'all. Under his exclusive 4-year deal with the Premium Network. The first project follows the successful climb of a young, ambitious Black woman breaking through the obstacles of the highly competitive and male-dominated world of sports agents. The show might have the makings of being an instant hit, with Snowfall and Raising Kanan script genius Tash Gray attached as executive producer and writer. So Tash is going to be hooking up with 50. All right. Okay. And get this. The story is inspired by the life of attorney and sports agent Nicole Lynn, who made her mark as the first Black woman to represent a top 3 NFL draft pick. Wow. As a University of Oklahoma alumni, the rising star earned her bachelor's degree in business management, right? And a doctor of law with honors before trading in her Wall Street job for the competitive world of sports at the age of 26.
Wow.
Lynn currently represents NFL players, softball players, music artists, and soon will make way to dominate the NBA now that she's received her certification earlier this year. And as a matter of fact, she still actively practices law while juggling her dream job in sports. Wow. So shout out to 50 for this huge deal.
Fantastic.
With STARZ, and shout out to Nicole Lynn, being a lawyer and a sports agent. I mean, who says you can't do it all? Yes, you can.
That's right.
Yes, you can. And in other news, entertainment news, that is, I'm about to get ratchet for just a hot second. I know this ain't our cup of tea, but it's fairly big news because of the culture. Let me say that. Rapper Cardi B files for divorce from Offset after a 3-year marriage.
Well, I got my own thoughts on that one.
Rapper Cardi B has filed for divorce from Migos rapper Offset, according to court documents filed at the Fulton County Magistrate State and Superior Court. There is a petition for, okay, now this is Cardi B's government name. I'm going to try to pronounce this. Belcalis Almanzar. Yeah, that's it. Belcalis Almanzar. All right. Now here's Offset's legal government name. Kiari Kendrell or Kendrell Cephas.
Not Cephas.
That's his last name, Mr. Cephas.
Okay.
Oh, Cephas.
The real names of the two rappers.
I see why they go by Offset and Cardi B.
Yeah. Cardi B and Offset got married in 2018 and had their daughter Culture that same year. Their relationship has had many rumors of infidelities and troubles, but the two always managed to work things out in the end. This time, legal action has been filed. Now, neither Cardi B or Offset have publicly addressed the filing, but Cardi B recently posted on her IG stories that she was, and I quote, her heart finally told her to stop wasting her time. End quote.
Ain't got nothing to do with that new song. She got to do it.
Her and Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know.
We're gonna leave that alone. Because I have so many jokes right now. I have many jokes.
That's all I got for the You Know How We Do segment. All right, that's it for me. So remember, progress is what you do. Achievement is a lifestyle. How are you living, fellas? Any final comments, questions, concerns?
Another one knocked out the park, fellas. Another one knocked out the park, fellas.
Yes, sir.
I believe this one was a wrap right here.
Okay.
I tell you, boy, it's like hot bacon.
I knew we were not going to do this segment, complete this segment without some kind of flashback. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, a lot of time before we start recording our shows, we have a little 30-minute conversation, and sometimes we reminisce, we talk about recent events. Whew. So that was an inside joke, because I'm not going to go into explaining it. That's a whole nother 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
That's a whole other podcast.
It's just a flashback to old school, how old school was brought up. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, y'all got anything else? Anything? Anybody want to bring anything up?
Nah, I'm good, bro. Appreciate everybody watching and listening, man.
That's it. Every week, man. We appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
And please remember, like what Pete said earlier, if you guys love the show, enjoy the show, please let us know. Send us an email. Give us a comment on the YouTube channel, on our Facebook page, on Instagram. Let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts about the shows. Let us know. We love to hear your feedback and your comments.
Yes, sir.
So with that, we're going to end with a Bible thought or verse for the week. And this week, I'm coming from Ephesians chapter 2, verse 10. And it reads, "For we are God's masterpiece. He has created us anew in Christ Jesus. So we can do so we can do the good things he has planned for us long ago." There you have it.
It is what it is.
There you have it. All right, folks. Well, that's our show for this week. We thank you so much for tuning in to Ourvoice 360.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
Our ways. Be blessed, be safe, and we are out.
Bacon, baby.
Bacon with the bubble lip.
If you enjoyed this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when a new show drops. Please rate and review this podcast and share it with your friends. Also, if you'd like to advertise or become a sponsor, please send an email to ourvoice360@gmail.com with your inquiry. We'll connect with you as soon as possible in hopes of creating a great partnership. And as always, thank you for tuning in to Ourvoice 360. Our perspectives, our way, keeping you in the know while you're on the go. See you next week.